Well, hi everybody, I'm Bill Whittle and this is Afterburner. In the early hours of June 1st, 2009, Air France Flight 447, a perfectly functional Airbus A330, descended into the Atlantic Ocean 4 hours into its routine flight from Rio de Janeiro to Paris. All 216 passengers and 12 crew members were killed. This is a remarkable accident, this one. Flight 447 experienced some heavy turbulence during the flight, but that didn't damage the aircraft or cause the crash. You can rest easy on that score. Modern commercial planes are stressed to tolerances far beyond what the atmosphere can dish out, despite the unpleasantness. The pitot tubes that measure airspeed appear to have iced over or otherwise become intermittent, and that was what started the chain of events that put that jet into the water. But blocked pitot tubes don't stop the airplane from flying. Air France 447 crashed because of a philosophy. Now, the short form is that Airbus believes that the plane is smarter than the pilot, and Boeing believes that the pilot is smarter than the plane. Airbus has decided, as a matter of philosophy, that the risk of pilot error is so high that Airbus jetliners simply cannot be put into flight regimes the airplanes consider dangerous. Automation systems in the Airbus lack tactile feedback. A command into one side stick is not felt on the other side. Auto throttles don't physically move when the power levels are adjusted by the autopilot, and so on. Now, on the other hand, the pilots of Boeing jetliners have full control of everything the American jet has in the box. Yoke controls move in unison. Throttles mechanically move, even when the autopilot makes an adjustment, and so on. That perfectly flyable Airbus A330 stalled aerodynamically, all the way down from its cruising altitude, about 40,000 feet, into the ocean. Now, stall recovery is the first maneuver that any fledgling pilot learns. It's simply the bedrock of your flight training. Laminar flow over the wing provides the lift that makes flying possible, but as the angle of attack increases, a point will come where that flow no longer adheres to the upper surface of the wing. The flow detaches, it becomes turbulent, and lift ceases instantly. Now, at that point, it's no longer an elegant jetliner. It's a $500,000 anvil heading into the sea. Flight 447 crashed because while the pilot and chief co-pilot were pushing the left stick down, trying to lower the critical angle of attack and turn that anvil back into an airplane again, the inexperienced junior co-pilot in the right seat had his side stick held all the way back. The other pilots didn't know it, but the airplane did. And so the airplane averaged the two inputs all the way into the ocean. The Euro, like the Airbus, is heading into the sea. Like the Airbus, it didn't suffer a catastrophic failure. It's being flown into the ocean because several people are pulling in different directions at the same time. As on the Airbus, the disciplined, mature nations, like Germany, are using austerity measures to push the nose down so that the European economy can regain flying speed. But panicked, hysterical nations like Greece are pulling back hard at the same time, trying to force the entitlements that simply cannot be paid for, in the same way that those two healthy jet engines could not power that aircraft out of the stall. Everybody knows it's going to happen. This is not a surprise. Desperately fighting to regain control of his jet, Air France First Officer David Robert's last words were, "Damn it, we're going to crash." Leaving an acrimonious debate with the intransigent incoming socialist leaders, Greek President Kyrilos Papoulias said, "Gentlemen, we are finished." They are finished. The EU was never a country. They couldn't do the easy things together, like manage their money, because they never had to do the difficult things together, you see? They never did the things that weld smaller states into a larger nation. Now, for example, during the second day at Gettysburg, the day before Pickett's charge, the entire Union line was nearly pierced by an earlier and massive Confederate attack. Men from all over the United States watched as 262 men from the 1st Minnesota Volunteer Regiment waded into the thousands and thousands of attacking rebels in order to buy a few precious minutes. 262 men went in and 47 came back out again. That's 83% casualties, still the largest losses ever suffered by an American unit. 25 Union states and 11 Confederate ones went into that Civil War, and one nation came out of it. If a German unit had taken 83% casualties defending Greeks right in front of the Greeks' eyes, would the Greeks still have shown the astonishing level of ingratitude and defiance they show today towards the Germans that prop up their entire economy? No. They would have cheered them to the rafters, like the Union and Confederate men did that day. France maker of the A330, has just voted down austerity in favor of bigger entitlements. The euro is being flown into the water, and all we can do is watch in horror. Meanwhile, in Wisconsin, it's starting to look like one captain under unbelievable pressure will likely be able to pull that state out of its economic stall and regain altitude. And all we can do is watch and hope. The debt crisis is as cold and unforgiving as the South Atlantic at midnight. The euro is going in. Whether the dollar follows it will depend on the courage and determination of men like Paul Ryan and especially Scott Walker. We're out of airspeed, out of altitude, and we're damn near out of ideas. And even if we do pull out, it's going to be very, very close.